Mic check. Okay, now we're good. Let's try it again. Laid out on the runways of World War II Air Base and the adjacent roadways, Sebring International Raceway is the oldest permanent road racing circuit in the United States. It hosted its first race on New Year's Eve, 1950, a 6-hour handicap event won by Crosley Hotshot 2-seat Roadster. The first 12-hour Grand Prix of Endurance was held 2 years later, and for several years, Sebring was the site of America's only real international races. In 1959, Sebring was the site of the first United States Grand Prix, before the event found a more permanent home at Watkins Glen. For nearly 60 years, the world's top racers have competed for victory at this storied track nestled in Central Florida's Orange Groves. The original race course was the longest in North America at more than 5 miles around. Today, Sebring International has 3 configurations, the longest of which, the 3.7-mile circuit used for the mid-March annual Mobil 1 12 Hours of Sebring. Like the original layout, the current one is a mix of smooth asphalt paved roadway and car-busting, tooth-rattling concrete slab runways. Experts claim that 12 hours of racing at Sebring is twice as hard on a car and its drivers than the 24 hours of Daytona or Le Mans. With a wide variety of types of corners, from featureless wide open throttle, wide radius sweepers to tight hairpins, Sebring offers a driver a variety of cornering challenges and major bumps to make a car dance. Sebring's shorter configuration is a popular year-round test facility for major race teams and a venue for SCCA club races. The full circuit is also host to major vintage race meets. You can see today the very same cars that were competing for victory honors 50 years ago. But tonight, it's the LSR Sportscar series. It'll be a 90-minute sprint, and it's coming up next on HBR TV. Race information again, it's listed as a 1-hour sprint. That was previous to coming into Sebring. Got to get that corrected, but it is indeed 90 minutes. We got a couple races this season that will exceed that 60-minute mark. A little bit more endurance for some of these drivers, so it's going to be a good one here tonight. As you can see, we are getting into a little bit of darkness. The sun's starting to set here in Florida. Qualifying is underway. Track temperature is about 79 degrees, so nice and cool. See what kind of lap times these guys can throw down here just a bit. Ten-minute quali session, 2 laps for all who want to take the time. 10-minute quali session, 2 laps for all who want to take the time. 10-minute quali session, 2 laps. Currently, Andrew Locke, top time, 1 minute 46.692 seconds. Kevin Blue looking pretty smooth out there. See what kind of lap time he can drop in here. He's about to get to the end of the straightaway and get down into Sunset Bend. Numerically, that'll be turn 17. Real fast sweeper under the bridge to the front straightaway. Kevin Blue at the line. 6 fast, minute 48.826. Go to Mark Thomas, the number 50 race anywhere Bad Obsession Motorsports Mercedes. First lap 2 minutes, just about 2 minutes, 2 minutes .429. Lap 2, a little slower, lost some time somewhere out on the course, but currently stands top of the board in GT. Cody Stieg, also in a Mercedes. Again, a pretty popular car here. We've talked about it a bunch since it was updated. Cody Stieg goes P1 though. Sub 2 minute lap, minute 59.934. Roll in the KFC Audi, his first lap at 209.72. Clearly some issues out on track on that first lap. See if you can pick it up here on lap 2. Again, just about 2.5 minutes remain, so he should be able to get back to that start-finish line and complete this lap. Cody, everything looks good on my end. I just cycled everything again, so hopefully we're back up and running. But please and thank you for the heads up. Somebody confirm. I've still got bars up here on my end that show that I'm chatting. Anybody confirm? Fingers crossed. We got a long pace lap, so if it's not working, we'll get it figured out. Again, sun already starting to set here at Sebring. So we're going to run this 90 minutes here from Florida. It's definitely going to get darker. Going to be interesting set of circumstances. Again, it is much different driving on these road courses as the sun starts to set. Your points of reference do tend to change. Landmarks are different. Some of the corners and the straightaways, they really don't have any reference points even during the day, so it just adds to that difficulty factor. I honestly think it's really going to weigh in the favor of drivers like Andrew Locke and James Vance. Of course, James got some real-world experience in IMSA and the LMP3 series. Andrew Locke, plenty of sim experience, even in the dark, throughout endurance racing. So that's definitely going to be an advantage for both of those drivers with fast MD racing. See how it goes. They got to get clear of the disasters that could unfold. We'll see. Field working through turns 15 and 16. Again, we still have a very long straightaway off turn 16 before we get into Sunset Bend. Yes, these corners, a lot of them do have names. I'm likely to refer to most of them by their numbers. But if we had to name it, turn 16 is Lamar. Straightaway is the Ullman Straight, then turn 17 is the Sunset Bend, and there's a couple other obvious ones. Turn 7 is called the Hairpin. Then we got turn 6, Big Bend. You get the idea. Ironically enough, pretty sure Watkins Glen stole the name of turn 6 from Sebring when they had their racing, or other way around. It's hard to say, but they have a corner on the original Grand Prix circuit that ran through the streets of Watkins Glen up through the state park, duly named Big Bend. And if you've ever driven on it, you definitely know why, because it is certainly a big bend. Pace car is off. We're ready to go green here from Sebring.
Green flag, green flag.
Kyle Surratt gets an early jump on Andrew Locke. We'll jump over to GT. They've just taken the green as well as they head into turn number 1. Cody Steeg with a healthy advantage through the first corner. There is an LMP2 off course just to the right of the racing line, and a couple cars sliding through the grass as well. Cold tires, no sunshine to heat this place up. A couple of drivers, Brack Crouch, looks like Drew Prohl as well. Both these drivers in trouble early on. Luckily, it's a 90-minute race, so they got plenty of time to make it up. Back out front, though, really unsure what has happened. Andrew Locke has gone from P1 to P10 in a hurry. Also, James Vance, he's gone from last just about up to P4. Very interesting there. Again, I think James Vance had to start to the tail of the LMP2 category. That was his win penalty. It's more than just an EOL. I think he may have a drive-through as well. We're going to keep an eye on that. In fact, let's go to James Vance right now and get a close eye on the number 23 as he closes in on Matt Sisler. This is working off turn 16. Now they got a straightaway. Good pass by Vance. Not wasting any time, and Sisler goes around. Sisler off turn 16 spins. Hard to tell from that angle if there was any contact. I don't believe there was. Vance into turn 17, Sunset Bend. Does he stay on the racetrack? Looks like he does. So not sure 100% here. I know I saw it earlier today as far as the wind penalties were concerned. See if we can track that down. Too much to dig through. Meanwhile, Kyle Surratt out front. James Vance now P2, up 10 spots in the last 2.5 minutes. Unbelievable drive this early on for James Vance. Definitely feeling at home here at Sebring. Kyle Surratt, though, 2.3 seconds out in front of the number 23. Further back down in GT, Cody Steeg continues to lead Blake Langley and Mark Thomas. Let's go back to the start here. We got a lot to unpack. Man, there is a bunch going on. So Brack Crouch, he crashed. At least that's what it appears. Brack in trouble here early. This appears to be coming to the green flag. Brack just checks up. I don't know what the deal is with that. Maybe he fired too early. That could be the case. It triggered an indication that he had crashed. He clearly did not. See Drew Prohl. Let's see what his incident was. This KFC Audi. Late on the brakes. Gets the right sides in the grass. Around he goes. No contact. Cody Anderson as well. Cody in the LMP2. So Kevin Blue was left there. He was in the grass a bit as well. Cody late on the brakes. Has to go straight through into the runoff. Bit of an access road there, so no harm, no foul. Again, a 90-minute race here. Everybody trying to get their legs underneath them. Let's try and look at the Matt Sisler crash again. Not so much a crash, but this was we were watching with James Vance makes the pass. I believe it was turn 16. Yeah, the right-hander. Now Sisler just runs wide there over the curb. Left side's in the grass. He comes around. And here's the Andrew Locke incident. This is to the outside of Kevin Blue. Down the straightaway into Sunset Bend. Oh, man, he had to dive to the bottom. Might have made some contact with the 10. Oh, yeah, both cars making contact for sure at the end of that. Into the tire barrier and then into each other. Now we'll go back live. Appears James Vance has taken the opportunity to get his pit penalty completed. 30 seconds, the time loss for James Vance. Still comes out in the 8th position overall in LMP2. Matt Sisler, who he was racing with a while back, is just in behind. Again, remember Matt and Vance off turn 16. Sisler got left sides a little bit wide on the corner. Around he went. A lot of aggression here early on. Gotta be honest, kind of surprised to see that much aggression this early on in the event. Again, an extra 30 minutes to go in this race. There are a couple races this season that are not the typical 60-minute. They are a full 90. Mark Thomas now in the 2nd position in GT. He's got Andrew Locke between himself and the GT leader. The leader is Cody Steeg. If anybody's in the stream chat, YouTube or Facebook, either one, please let me know if your audio is still working, if my audio is coming through. I have no indication on my end that it's not, but let's see, Cody Anderson popped in the chat and said that he thinks I'm muted. Shut everything down quickly and reset as far as the audio was concerned. Hopefully that corrected it, but if someone could pop in the stream chat and give us a yay or a nay, that'd be really helpful. All right, awesome. Thank you very much. It's fixed. It's a plus. So back in GT3, Cody Steeg still the leader, again in the Mercedes. Working through some lap traffic already. Mark Thomas running in the second position in GT as well. About a 4.6 second advantage for Cody Steeg over Mark Thomas. Again, it seems like a lot, but again, it is early. Still plenty of racing left. Again, a full 90-minute race here at Sebring tonight. A lot can happen. Obviously, lap traffic, a simple mistake, put a wheel off here, a wheel off there, and things can change in a hurry. Blake Langley in the third position in the Ferrari. As Nigel Stock tries to go by on the outside. Just want to clarify, too, we did classify Jesse Redding as being in the race. Again, typically Jesse runs the live admin. Occasionally he will run, but it appears that he is just here for the admin roles tonight. So Jesse, the eye in the sky. Kevin Blue runs in the fifth position. Oh, we got a car around. I think that's the 10. That is indeed the 10 of Joe Tucker. Looks like he's got that thing high-sided on the curb. He's going to need a bit of a push or a tow truck, one or the other. You see it rocking left and right like a seesaw. Got that thing just so on the curb so that the middle of the chassis is on the highest point. Kind of rocking it back and forth. It's a helpless feeling. There's not a whole lot he can really do about it other than just sit there and, well, wait for someone to hit him or get the tow truck going. Unfortunately, he does not want to do that tow. You see him spinning those tires and just touching the grass just enough. Tough break for Joe Tucker. He's just going to opt to tow there. He does just that. Nothing he can really do about it at that point. Currently, Kyle Surratt still your leader here. He's been out there since the drop of the green flag. Again, Andrew Locke, I don't know if he just didn't get a great jump. Let's give it a shot here. Let's go back, see if we can watch this start. What exactly happened there with those two. Surratt just got the better jump. In fact, I think he did beat the 27 to the start-finish line. Not 100% sure on the ruling there, but beating the pole sitter to the line on the initial start. I know in many series, oh, there was a big wreck back there as well. Let's see if we can find that. Oh, yeah, him and Sean Roberts. The bad luck for Roberts continues. Let's back that one up and see if we can get a better view as to exactly what happened there, if they just got into it too hot. This is right at the initial start, the left-hander into turn number 1. The 33 is Sean Roberts to the inside, and it looks like Andrew was checked up just a bit. Maybe because he thought that Surratt left early, that'd be my guess, but it kind of jams up everybody in behind. Keep an eye on the 33. Bottom lane, center of the screen. And he is going to get to the back. Yeah, he does get into Andrew Locke there. I don't know if he just got in too deep. Andrew tapped the brakes to get the car to rotate on cold tires. But yeah, big impact for both of these drivers. Turn 1, lap 1. That's not how you want to start a race. Surratt's still out in front. Now Garrett Hagen has slipped into the second position with Leo Tucker now into third. James Vance, after the penalty, he's worked his way up into the fourth position. Vance so far with the fastest lap on track, 1 minute 48.09. Second fastest lap on the track. Well, that was the last lap. Kyle Sprott actually currently holding the fastest lap of 48.03 to Vance's 48.05. They are very close, but Vance is going to need to pick it up just a bit more if he's going to close down on the 18. Back into GT, Cody Steeg still with the top spot. Again, sun continuing to set here, getting darker and darker. Everybody's got the lights on, as they have since the drop of the green flag. Cody Steeg maintaining that top spot, but not increasing the gap between himself and Mark Thomas at any point. Steeg's best lap a 2 minute .83. Mark Thomas a 2:01.36. Thomas doing a good job at staying consistent. That seems to be the best way to do it right now, because again, that gap between the two of them, it's not shrinking, but it's not getting any bigger either. So again, attrition could play a role here. Got to finish these races if you want to win these races, and that's job number 1. Let's take a moment here. Let's try and go through the field. Start up in LMP2, naturally, as it is the overall. Kyle Surratt out front, started the outside front row in P2, very quickly took over the lead. Some questioned whether or not he jumped the initial start, because he did cross that start-finish line before the pole sitter. Nevertheless, must have been fine, because we've been 16, now 17 minutes into this race with no issues. Surratt's still out in front. Second place belongs to Garrett Hagen. Hagen's made some moves here this evening as well. Started 10th. He's already up to P2. Talk about lightning in a bottle, though. James Vance. Forget where he qualified. He still had to start from the tail of the field. The win penalties, just something that the LSR Sportscar Series does do. You have varying skill levels. Okay, James comes to the series from IMSA. He drives the LMP3 series on a regular. I mean, that's his job. So he comes in here certainly without a lot of struggles that some of the newer drivers may have. So he's going to win some races. There's no doubt about that. With that said, that's kind of been planned for. So the series does kind of throw in the win penalty. The first win, you got an end-of-line penalty. The second win, you still get that EOL, but you also get a drive-through or something to that effect to kind of even things up so you don't have the same guy win every week. And on top of that, it certainly adds to the excitement. Watching a guy like James Vance start from the tail and fight his way through the field is very, very impressive. I think the first minute and a half, 2 minutes of the race, he had passed 10 cars already. Even through his penalty, he's already up to P3. Running in the 4 spot, it is Lee O. Tucker, number 32, Apex Tech Machine. Lee's up 4 spots, started 8th. Kyle Moyer in the 20, down a spot, still a solid top 5 thus far. Tyson Pankow running in the 6th position. And Matt Sisler, who typically has quite a bit of pace more often than not, whether it's on the oval side of things or even on the road side, had some issues getting off turn 16, put the left sides in the grass and around it went. Didn't hit anything, but certainly cost him some track position and some time. Solidly running where he started in the 7th spot. Number 6, Chris Goins, Lone Star Racing. Up 3 spots in the 8th position. And look at you, Kevin Blue, the number 54. Kevin is the Lone Star Racing Sports Car Series admin. Just out here having a good time. He started 9th, he runs 9th. Certainly appreciate Kevin putting on the series and, well, having me here to broadcast it. Andrew Locke runs in the 10th spot. And Andrew started pole position. Might have some damage on that car. Don't know if he was at pit lane to get some repairs made. He was in the box about 5 seconds. I can't imagine that was legit repairs. It may have been the fast repair. I believe they have 2. It was the end of lap number 1. Andrew had to make an evasive maneuver into turn 17, split 2 cars, and ended up clipping another. Sent him into the tire barrier, and the other one followed. Still not a bad run so far, though. 10th spot for Andrew Locke. Nigel Stock, number 90, runs in the 11th spot. Nigel's down a few. Nigel was involved in that first lap crash into turn 1 with Sean Roberts, so that explains why he is so far back. Nigel also typically has quite a bit of pace around these road courses. Jordan Curdy going for an off-road excursion. This looks to be through the hairpin, turn 7, 8 through 9 just now. Should be coming down into the right-hander, turn 10, under braking, yeah. No harm, no foul. Cody Anderson in the 13th spot in LMP2. Down 4 positions. Again, Cody involved in another incident early on as well. Nothing significant as that car doesn't look too terribly damaged. Cody was in the pit lane, though, for about a minute and a half, so likely got some repairs made, didn't burn the fast repair. Brett Crouch in the number 18, sorry, in the number 17 in 18th position. We're kind of going out of order here. So we'll go back up to GT, go to our GT leader. That is Cody Steeg. He's been out front pretty much since the drop of the green flag, though he is up a few spots. Granted, that may be more indicative of passing some of these LMP2 vehicles. There are 4 that are currently behind the GT category leader. Second place currently Mark Thomas, also in a Mercedes, the Bad Obsession Motorsports driver. Lots of rear brake in that machine. You can see the cherry red rotors lighting up the night. Getting down into Sunset Bend, turn 17. Take a look again here as they go into turn number 1. Watch the rear brakes. Get on them hard here at the end of the straightaway. And they just get a little hotter and hotter as they go. Not so much there as this kind of a sweeper. Stand board with Mark. There you go. There's that glow. In the third spot, Blake Langley in the Ferrari. A lot of rear brake in that, number 22 as well. Chris Pio, another Ferrari, running in the 16th position overall, 4th in GT. Brett Crouch, we talked about him a minute ago, kind of got there incidentally. Another Mercedes out on the track, running in the 5th position in the GT category. James Bomar, James in a Mercedes. Again, seems to be the car of choice in GT, at least for now, until iRacing makes an update and kind of evens things back up. I'm sure a BOP adjustment is forthcoming at some point or another. Some damage on that machine, though. Not sure where he's headed off track and made some contact with another car or possibly a safer or Armco barrier. Andy Spicer in another Ferrari with Apex Tech. He runs in the 7th position. Drew Prohl in the 8th spot. Only Audi in the field. PM Beagle in the BMW currently runs 9th. Bill Mulfeld is 10th. Britt Osborne, the 421 in the Lambo, runs in the 11th position. Chris Myers, who I think just had an incident on track. In fact, he's already back in the pits. Let's take a moment, see if we can find out what happened with Chris. We'll go to that right now. Chris in the Ferrari. This is coming down turn 17. Yes, it was. Real easy to get the rear end light in the middle of this corner, especially through those bumps. Around he goes. Locks him up. Doesn't hit anything. Nicely done. This goes right to the pits. That'll wrap up your through the field as Cody Anderson hits pit lane. Nighttime track temperatures highly doubt I'm going to see anybody take tires on this first stop, or maybe even at all. I think guys like Andrew Locke, James Vance, and others that are familiar with these LMP2s are going to probably run this whole race without changing tires. But wait, no, Cody Anderson is changing tires. I got to say, it's a bit surprising to see only 25 minutes into this race. Car does drop down off the jack. Cody's still in pit lane here. Clock goes to about a full minute at this point. Go back to our leaders here. Kyle Surratt still out in front. Plenty of pace. 15.3 second advantage over second place running James Vance. Vance has got some work to do if he's going to reel him in. Lap times coming down for both drivers. Best so far, Kyle Surratt was a 47.44, but James Vance about a tenth faster, a 47.33. Only 2 drivers in the field to crack that minute 47 mark. If they were really to start pushing, you might see some high 46s. Remains to be seen, but that's only a few tenths off. Catch a little draft on the straightaway, get it just right. Certainly look at that lap time. Would expect some of these LMP2s to start making their regular scheduled stops. That's where you may see some of these positions, as far as track position is concerned, change up quite a bit. How well you get in and out of the pit lane. Every part of it matters. Getting into the pit box, getting down to pit lane speed. Remembering to turn on the rev limiter, because that's not default. Got to turn it on. Yes, you do have the advantage of using it, but if you don't turn it on, it doesn't do you a whole lot of good. James Vance, though, slips another half second. 16 seconds now, the gap to P2. Back in GT3, Cody Steek still with the top spot. The gap back to Mark Thomas, maintaining still between 4.5 and 5 seconds lap after lap, pretty much since we got this thing underway. 28, now 29 minutes down. Missing one driver from action tonight. It is Zach Millett, driver of the 315. That S4 guy Mercedes. Hasn't made all of the races thus far, but certainly the guy out there has got some pace and could be a contender for some wins this season. But unfortunately, at least for the racing aspect of Zach's life, he's on vacation. So we miss you, Zach. Come back soon. Bring the Mickey ears. That's what you ought to do. You got to wear the Mickey ears in the stream the next time you race. Worth at least 2/10. Lee Tucker on pit road. Is this a scheduled stop? In fact, Cody Anderson, I think, is still in the pit box. Indeed, he is. That pit time up to almost 5 full minutes. Lee Tucker, though, this may be scheduled stop number 1 for the 32. Tucker down and away, 29.13 second stop. Definitely fuel only. And there you have it. We just talked about a moment ago. These guys keep it up. They're going to drop into the 46s. Kyle Surratt did just that. 1 minute 46.992 miles per hour. Seconds. Lap 16 of the day. Got it down below that 1 minute 47 mark. Awfully quick. Gap back to James Vance increasing now. It's 18.8 seconds. Cody Steeg's best lap of the evening, 2 minutes, .210. Did crack the minute 59 mark in qualifying. A little bit higher track temperatures at that time than we have right now. I'd be curious to see as these cars burn off fuel, Cody Steeg can get a little bit quicker lap. Again, that's full push in qualifying, so these guys maybe not willing to take as much of a risk just for the sake of lap time. I know the racer in me, sometimes I can't help it. Even if I'm leading a race, the final lap, it's like, all right, let's go. Let's try and get that best lap of the day. And most of the time you end up getting it, but sometimes you don't, and you end up crashing the car and losing the race. So sometimes it gets the better of you. Well, we saw Lee Tucker take the opportunity to hit pit lane. So far, most of the LMP2s have not done so, not have followed suit. Again, we're about 19 laps into this event. Again, a 90-minute, I say quote-unquote endurance. It's 90 minutes. Yeah, it's a long time, but it's certainly not a 6-hour or a 12-hour. You watch some of these actual IMSA WeatherTech sports car events. The 6-hour race, yes, it's a 6-hour endurance, but they drive it like it's a sprint race. This one's only 90 minutes, so as much as it is longer than our typical 60-minute races that we run here in LSR, it's still kind of an endurance, but they're pushing just as hard as they would be. There's no sense in it. You can see, again, Surratt running that last lap. I think it was a few laps ago, minute 46.92. He's not saving anything right now. He is going full send. James Vance is getting smaller and smaller in the mirror. It's a 19-second advantage now for Kyle Surratt. Still not much has changed back in GT. Cody Steeg, Mark Thomas, Blake Langley. That's the top three. None of the drivers in GT from P1 back to P7 have seen pit lane as of yet. 8, 9, 10, and 11. Really everybody else in GT has for one reason or another, whether it's strategy or related to an incident on track that required some repairs. But right now, top 7 GT cars, no stops thus far. Again, my guess, being a longer 90-minute race versus the 60, these guys running with open setups, they are the whole season long, probably took the opportunity to say, let's fill this thing full. Let's get as much fuel in it, pack it full the first time, first stint, so to speak. Make it a one-stop race. That very well could be the case, at least in GT. I'm much more familiar with them as far as how long you're going to go on a set of fuel, a full load of fuel. It's probably going to be 45 minutes to max an hour, whereas the LMP2s, I'm pretty sure you're only going to get about 30 or 40 depending on fuel load. See Andrew Locke going to the inside. Sorry, that was James Vance. Kyle Surratt goes fastest lap once again, minute 46.64. Speaking of fuel burning off, the car's getting lighter. Later on the brakes, earlier to the throttle, a little more nimble through the corners. Results in quicker lap times. Kyle Surratt just getting quicker and quicker. And here he is to pit lane. Kyle Surratt down pit lane the first time today, 36 minutes into this event. Just past the 1/3 mark. With this, it's going to be 2-stop strategy for Kyle Surratt. James Vance also in the pit lane. 2-stop strategy for the 23 as well. That Surratt's awfully close to that pit wall. Looks like everybody in LMP2 taking this opportunity to come down pit lane. So far, all the way back to the top 5. Tyson Pankow in the 18 going up on jacks. Gonna take tires. Curious to see if Vance is as well. No, he is not. He is double stinting tires. Nope, who was that? That wasn't Vance that pulled out. It was. James Vance completes his stop. Fuel only for the 23. He exits. Looks like he may cycle through as the leader. Matt Sisler currently with the top spot, but he did not pit. Very interesting. Andrew Locke now up to P2. He still has to pit. He did take the opportunity in lap 2. Maybe it was lap 1. It was lap 1. He was only in the box for 5 seconds. I'm still unsure what that was for. I know he had some damage, probably just for the fast repair, but we won't know for certain until we're all done. Meanwhile, top 3, Matt Sisler, Andrew Locke, James Vance. Again, I expect Sisler to pit this lap or the next. Chris Goins, Kevin Blue leaving the pit lane. GT leaders in pit lane as well. Let's see if Sisler takes the opportunity. He does. Off turn 17, takes the hard right down pit lane. Go to Cody Steeg here. Mark Thomas alike, both drivers. Hard to tell. They are both right there. There, you can see them better now. See who leaves the box first. James Vance back in the pits. Don't know if Vance made a miscalculation here. Remember, he did not take tires on his last stop, which is 1 lap ago. He's back down pit lane again. Mark Thomas down and away, so is Cody Steeg. Gap between these two significantly greater than before. It's up to 10.3 seconds. Vance, though, still in the pits. Really not sure what's going on here with the 23. James Vance sits idle in the box. He's been there almost a full minute at this point. He's dropped now to the 11th position. Next to catch him would be the 12th place running Sean Roberts. I just don't know. Andrew Locke, though, now has taken over the top spot over Kyle Surratt. And Andrew a little bit off cycle, though. He is still going to need to make a stop for fuel for certain. Not sure if he took an opportunity to get some fuel in that first stop after his first lap crash. I can't imagine it really benefited him that much as far as the fuel load goes. And probably not. He is in pit lane here. This is his first scheduled stop of the day. Vance finally out down pit lane here. Again, don't know what the deal. Maybe he didn't get the car full. So let's watch Andrew Locke closely here. Again, Vance, first stop, didn't take tires, came back around, spent well over a minute in the pit lane. Didn't catch to see if he took 4 tires or not. But again, with these cars, they're going to take fuel first, then they can put the tires on. They cannot do it simultaneously with this series. We'll see if Andrew opts to stay out on the old tires. Again, he's got about 40 minutes, maybe a little less, on that set of Michelins. Andrew Locke now falling through the standings. Minute and 25 seconds in the pit box. Again, I'm hesitant to pull away here because as soon as we did that with James Vance, he pulled down pit lane and left. We'll give it another 20 seconds or so, and then we'll peel off and cover the rest of the action. Just want to see if Andrew's just taking fuel and tires or what the strategy is here, or if he's just done for the night. Well, we're going to go with probably not. I don't know if Andrew's going to just hang tight there or what, but nonetheless, Nigel Stock, he is down pit lane as well. Kyle Surratt's retaken the top spot. Garrett Hagen is second. Got Valley Odinson says, this is not ARCA. I fear what made you say that. I'm hoping that somehow Facebook didn't load the wrong description, or maybe I picked the wrong stream key. That would be wonderful, wouldn't it? Yeah, looks like I picked the wrong stream key. Sorry, guys. At least you can see the race. That's a bonus, but definitely my mistake there. This is not the ARCA Series Race 20 at Talladega. That was a few days ago. Saturday, I believe it was. So my mistake there. At least the race is going. We've had our share of issues here tonight. I don't know what's causing it. It's just one of those fluke things. Maybe it's just a Monday. We had some audio problems early on. I couldn't tell if my mic was working at all. Then it was muted. We didn't know why. I don't know. Well, with all that, looks like Andrew Locke has jumped into the green room. He is available for comment as he sits in pit lane. Let's try and pull Andrew up to the booth and find out exactly what is going on. Andrew, it's Steve in the HBR TV booth. We see you still sitting in pit lane there. What's going on?
Just bad luck tonight. Been having some equipment problems for the last, probably 2 weeks. My brake pedal is completely shot. All the hydraulic fluid's leaked out of it, so I'm waiting on a part. So I'm kind of racing with a GIMP pedal, but just not good luck tonight with the traffic or anything. And there was about 3 minutes of repairs left, so I'm just gonna park it, unfortunately, and pretty bummed out because this is probably one of my strongest tracks in this season is Sebring. So James had a little VR glitch as well behind me, and so he's going to see if he can catch back up to the leaders. And I don't know, just a tough night overall, unfortunately.
Yeah, James said you were working on some new equipment at some point. I think it might have been a week or two ago, and had some issues there as well. First lap, let's go back a little bit, though. We saw at the start, I don't know if that was related to equipment or if Surratt jumped the start.
Yep. Well, the start itself, that was completely my mistake. I actually had left it in second gear, didn't realize it. So that one was totally on me. But going into the hairpin, that was 100% on my pedals. So I just locked up, and there you go. Because like I said, there's no brake pressure. The only pressure that I have is really on the spring that's in there. So it has been a challenge to drive, and it cost me. I think that cost me the race right there, unfortunately.
Well, so that was the issue at the start. Let's talk through the incident. A little bit of traffic really end of lap one. I think coming into Sunset Bend, turn 17, you kind of threaded the needle through a couple of cars, but then maybe some contact with another.
Yep, exactly. So the car ahead of me, he had actually, I think it was a prototype car. He'd actually just pretty much parked it in the corner. I'm not sure who it was. So that's why I had to thread it. And by that time, I had kind of gotten out of the line, and the car was bouncing, as you know, around Sunset, and I couldn't get the car to slow down. So that was that incident, among many others. So it was interesting for sure.
Well, we just watched a quick replay of it, and man, that was an incredible job trying to thread the needle through Kevin Blue and Joe Tucker, but unfortunately, you ended up catching a piece of the tire barrier. I'm sure that didn't help, but you said you had, 3.5+ minutes left?
Well, I did. I'm just watching the race at this point. I just kind of called it because it's just, again, it's just super challenging trying to drive with this pedal, and it's just, it stinks because, you know, again, I was in the points lead here, but I'm sure with you know, Kyle leading the race, he's going to take the lead on this after this race, unfortunately. So we'll have to do some catching up, and my the part that I ordered for the pedals, it came in from Australia. It's in Los Angeles right now, so hopefully I'll see it sometime this week. So.
Well, Andrew, thanks for talking to us, man. Sorry about the hardware woes. Hope we get that straightened out for next week, man.
Yeah, no worries, Dave. Thanks.
It's Andrew Locke, driver of the number 25. I always mess this up. Yeah, indeed, the 25. James Vance in the 23. Andrew looks to be out of this one. Hardware issues, pedal-related issues. It's not just in the sim that you can have a failure for a tire or an engine or a transmission. We do have mechanical moving parts in our rigs that, you know, steering inputs, brake pedals, gas pedals. It's not handheld controllers for the most of us. Once in a blue moon, you catch a guy with a controller, and it's very evident very quickly. But these things do fail, just like any other moving component. It can break, it can give up the ghost, so to speak, and in Andrew's case, hydraulic fluid leaking on the floor. I guess the pedals that he has are very realistic. They actually have true hydraulic fluid, so they probably feel much like a real brake pedal assembly. But if it's broken, if it's not working, if it's leaking fluid, certainly not going to be a reliable and consistent pedal. It definitely showed itself here tonight. Just throwing in the towel for this one. I can't say that I blame him. Going back to the title of tonight's stream. Again, my apologies, guys. I picked the wrong stream key, it looks like. So, again, you're not watching the ARCA Series from Talladega. That was Saturday. You are watching the Lone Star Racing Sports Car Series, the FF Karting. 90 minutes of Sebring. It's round number 6, I believe. We'll get that edited later. Hopefully I didn't overwrite the other race. We are just past the halfway point in the race here at Sebring. We're going to step aside, take a quick break. We'll go side by side so you guys don't miss a minute of the action. So stay with us. We'll be back after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Sebring, Florida, Sebring International Raceway. Lone Star Racing Sports Car Series round number 6, the 90 minutes of Sebring, presented by FF Karting. Just about to the 2/3 mark of tonight's race. Kyle Surratt still with the lead in the LMP2 category. Cody Stieg runs first in GT3, 12th overall. Surratt with a 15-second, just over 14-second advantage over second place running Garrett Hagen. Matt Sisler, good rebound though. He's back up into a podium position for now. Sisler did make his pit stop at lap 21, so slightly fresher tires if he took them. It doesn't appear to be the case because it was only a 33-second stop. But a little bit more fuel on board, go that extra distance. Probably a one-stop race remaining for the rest of the LMP2 group. 4th place right now, Lee Tucker. Kyle Moyer runs in the 5th position, the number 20 machine. Tyson Pankow slapdash machine. Kevin Blue runs in the 7th spot. He's up 2 on the day. Nigel Stock, P8. And Nigel involved in that first lap incident. With Sean Roberts. Roberts ended up on the roof. Chris Goins runs in the 9th position. Chris Goins just having a Chris Goins kind of night. Quiet. Not in the mess. Just running his race, and it's working out for him. He's up 2 spots so far. Only a couple off tracks. In the 10th position, it's the 23 of James Vance. Now, James had a lot of pace early on. I think he had some issues in this race with his VR setup. That coming from Andrew Locke when we spoke with him just a few moments ago before the break. Not to mention a little connection issue, it seems. Sean Roberts in the pit lane. This is likely his first stop of the day, at least scheduled stop of the day. Getting some more repairs done. In fact, looking at it here, it's possible, I believe Sean Roberts may have had a second and maybe even a third incident on track. Actually, I've got it a few times here. This could be really bad. Let's go take a look, see what we can find out happen here with the 33 of Sean Roberts. Through some GT traffic. Oh, just locks up the rears and then gets hit in the back. I think that might have been Brad Crouch. Not a major incident, but certainly damaged the left rear of that LMP2 machine. And then we have another incident. Let's look at this one here. Right side's in the grass, around he goes. And this is the third one. This is all over the span of about 2 or 3 laps, not even. It's the inside of Mark Thomas and just overdrives, goes into the runoff again. Spins it around, puts it in the wall. Frustration certainly showing here for Sean Roberts. It looks like James Vance has crashed. Let's see what happened here with the 23. Oh, gets over in the grass. A little bit of a tank slap. Back to the other side in the grass. Through the cones. Straighten her out. That might be all she wrote for James Vance. Kyle Surratt still out in front. He's been dominating this race here tonight. Closest challenger, it's the 30 of Garrett Hagen in the second spot. Just shy of 18 seconds back to the rearview mirror. I say mirror, these LMP2 cars do not have rearview mirrors. Let's go on board and ride with Kyle Surratt in the dark, see what he sees. Certainly impressive. These LMP2 cars are just crazy fast. Tons of downforce, plenty of power. Real brave move going through turn 17, going that far to the left side. I didn't know you could even run that line. And I hate to say it, but it looks like Sean Roberts has crashed once again. Let's take a look. Turn 16, puts the left sides in the grass. Little tank slap again, around he goes. Hits that concrete barrier. Rights the ship, and back in the throttle he goes. Kyle Surratt just working through this lap traffic with ease. Certainly making it look like a Sunday drive. Meanwhile, Cody Steeg still your GT3 category leader in the Mercedes Apex Tech machine. He's got 9.4 seconds over Mark Thomas. Mark has taken over that second spot from Blake Langley. And man, we're getting deja vu back to Daytona as Sean Roberts is in trouble again. I don't know if he opted to not put tires on it. We saw some guys choosing to, some guys choosing not. But again, this looks like turn 16 again. It seems to be the bane of his existence. It really is a shame. Sean had pretty damn good pace early in the season at Daytona. Kind of ran into the same situation he's dealing with now. When it happens, I know it's very easy to get like this and to get frustrated. You try to get more out of the car, you can't focus, and then you just, every lap, it seems like you're making a mistake. You got to kind of let yourself cool. Oh, and he's off again into the barrier. Tough break. Looks like Sean is going to pull it down pit lane here. I think he's going to have to for some repairs. Guess I wouldn't be surprised to see him step out of the car, though. It does go on the jack stands. Going to change some tires. Got to commend him not being willing to give up. Actually, you do see him still sitting in the car, so that's a plus. But going back to Daytona, it was very similar. He had great pace. He was battling up front with the leaders, and then had a crash, and then another crash, and then another crash, and then another crash, and it just continued on. It just kind of big domino effect of crashes, unfortunately, for Sean Roberts. And it's not a matter of skill with him. Might be in his head a little bit. That certainly happens to the best of us. Tough break. Might be getting out at this point. In fact, there he goes. Garrett Hagen in pit lane from second spot. This is likely to be his last stop of the day. Garrett with Circle B diecast on that LMP2. No tires for Hagen. He's down and away. It's going to give the second spot to Matt Sisler. Sisler into turn one. Hagen's going to be coming up the backside there just a bit. It's about a 5-second advantage for Sisler as Hagen leaves the pits. Tucker's going to take the third spot from Hagen as well. This will be the battle to watch for a moment or two. We'll see if Tucker can hold off Hagen for that spot. Now, Tucker's a little off sequence as well. His first and only stop of the race appears to have been lap 16, but it doesn't show any pit lane time whatsoever. It does show pit box time, about 29.13 seconds for Lee Tucker. So you know he's got to stop coming before the end of this race, as we've got a little less than 24 minutes remain before we can call it official. Top three in LMP2, it's Surratt, Sisler, and Tucker, at least for now. Hagen's made his final stop of the day. Top three remain on the racetrack, still with one stop to go, I believe, before they're done for the day. And there you see it, Tucker's in pit lane. So that'll get Hagen back up into the podium position, P3. So Hagen, the top driver on the freshest, well, he didn't take tires, so at least on the strategy to get him to the finish here. He does not need to pit another time here. Plenty of fuel on board to make it to the finish. Surratt and Sisler, not the same scenario, though. Though they do have over a minute, Surratt does, on P2 of Sisler. Tucker just leaving the pits. He's actually going to lose a lap here. .21.5 minutes remain. Sebring, Florida. Kyle Surratt, your leader. Matt Sisler, second. Hagen, Moyer, and Pankow, the top five. Then it's Nigel Stock and Kevin Blue. That is your lead lap running order for LMP2. Jump down to the GT3 category. Cody Stieg. Pretty dominant performance so far at Sebring tonight. He's been out front likely pretty much since the drop of the green flag. Mark Thomas again having another solid podium type run. The number 50 Bad Obsession Motorsports Race Anywhere livery. Blake Langley runs in the 3rd spot. Running 4th, Chris Pio, and Brack Crouch running 5th. And Jim Bomar, another Mercedes, running in the 6th position. Kyle Surratt closing in on P2 and GT. That's Mark Thomas. Makes that pass clean into turn number 1. Chris Goins in the pit lane for likely his final stop of the day. Still kind of curious if there's any tire strategy here. Not for Chris Goins. He's going to keep the old sets on. Even if they're worn, I'll take a set of hot Michelins over a set of freshies. See Kyle Moyer having trouble out on the track. Let's see what happened with Kyle. It's just moments ago. The number 20. 4th place running machine at the time. A little too much rear brake or a little too much pedal. Locks up the rear tires. About a half spin. And the 6th place machine coming up quickly. Everybody's back up to speed, though. No harm, no foul. Chris Goins passing through some lap traffic in GT as well. Mark Thomas down pit lane for his final stop of the event. 1 hour and 12 minutes in. Just under 18 left. Tough break for Mark Thomas. Misses the pit box just slightly. Has to back it up. It's going to cost him some time. Hopefully it does not cost him a podium. Comes in the 2nd position with Brack Crouch in 3rd. Currently as they run, Mark has not lost that spot yet. Plenty of time, though. He's down and away. Fuel only for the Bad Obsession Motorsports Mercedes. Oh, and Garrett Hagan has crashed. Garrett Hagan running P3 at the time. This looks like turn 1. Some GT traffic having some issues. Oh, again, late on the brakes, locks him up. Gotta wait for the traffic to go on by. Oh, this is agonizing to watch if you're in the cockpit of that machine. Gathers it back up and back into the race. Slips to the 4th position. Leader Kyle Surratt down pit lane here, an hour and 13, almost 14 minutes in. Final stop of the day. Clean into the box. No, has to back it up. Misses the box by quite a bit. Luckily, he's got some time to work with, so that's not going to likely play a factor at all. Fuel only for the 18. Solid afternoon so far for Kyle Surratt. Led pretty much since the drop of the green flag. Pole sitter Andrew Locke missing a shift on the initial start. Gave that lead away right away. Kyle Surratt down pit lane here. Fuel only to get him to the finish. Again, just over 15 minutes remain. As long as Kyle can keep all the body work on that machine, he's got this thing one in the bag. He's got almost a full, well, it was a minute. Now it's down to 30 seconds. Matt Sisler has closed the gap pretty considerably, but he does still need to make his final stop of the day as Tyson Pankow, he is doing just that, his last stop of the event. Pankow in the pits. He's going to slip to 5th or maybe even worse. Kevin Blue also in pit lane for his final stop of the night. Again, this race going to end in darkness. Majority of the race has been, well, with the headlights on. Oh no, Mark Thomas has crashed. Let's get a look, see what happened here with our second place running machine. Mark Thomas was running in P2 when this happened. Such a commonality thing we've seen here a bunch of times, locking up the rear brakes, getting into the corner late here in the running. Tires are getting a little worn. Drivers are getting a little tired. Again, the extra 30 minutes here, this 90-minute race instead of a 60-minute, likely coming into play here. Some of these drivers just kind of getting outside their heads for a moment, getting out of that headspace and trying to focus and run some laps. And see what just happens there. Mark Thomas goes from P2. Now he's back in 4th. See if he can salvage a podium finish in GT. He's got 10 seconds to make up to catch the Ferrari of Chris Pio. I don't know if he's got enough time. He might. 13 minutes remain. Keep an eye on that one. Meanwhile, Kyle Surratt again still out in front. Matt Sisler in the second spot, 28 seconds in the rears. But again, he does still need to make one more stop before this one is over. Surratt really just on cruise control here, just trying to keep that thing in one piece, not get collected by any kind of GT traffic issues. Keep it between the curbs and the painted lines. And just a little bit of a mistake. You just saw it there. It was minor, and he didn't have any major issues because of it, but did put those left sides in the grass. Does not need to push here. He can really go to 2/3 here if he needs to. I don't see Sisler closing down that 28-second gap in the next 12 minutes. Especially considering we're pretty sure that Sisler is going to need to pit one more time for fuel to make it all the way to the finish. Garrett Hagen has recovered. He's back into the 3rd position. Back down to GT. It's Cody Steeg. Surprise, surprise. He's got a full minute advantage over second place running Brack Crouch. Brack has got winning speed so far this season, so to put that kind of a distance on the number 17, that is an impressive run out of the 4. Again, in equal equipment, both running the Mercedes. Crouch and Zach Millett battled it out. I believe it was last week. Millett kind of threw it away. Crouch, I believe, ended up getting the win there. Chris Pio in the Ferrari running now third after the mistake from Mark Thomas. Chris with an 8.5 second advantage over Thomas. Again, Mark has closed it down a bit. And Cody Steeg down pit lane for his final stop of the day. We'll see how this shakes things up with Brack Crouch, Chris Pio second and third. Again, Cody comes in here. He had a full minute advantage over P2. His stop is likely going to take not even half that. Cody in the box, not likely changing tires. Nope, quick splash and go. Cody's down and away, 13.02 seconds. Talking about NASCAR pit stop times there. Just a splash, enough to get him home. Nine minutes remain here from Sebring before we can wave the checkered flag. Matt Sisler in the pit lane. Sisler listed in P4 right now. Hagen now up to P2. And Mark Thomas gets by Chris Pio. More so because Chris had to pit, so luckily Mark's going to get back into the podium. Let's see if he can close down the gap on Brack. Brack Crouch having an 11.6 second advantage over Mark Thomas. Now, Crouch hasn't pit since lap 20 either, so Mark may have gotten away with this one. Might not make a difference that he locked up the tires and spun around there. Yes, he lost some track position on Cody Steeg, but Chris Pio had to stop. He had to get his fuel to get to the finish, so that gave up P3. And Brack Crouch, last stop, lap 20. These guys are working lap 39 right now, so I would imagine we're going to see Crouch hit pit lane here any minute. Crouch getting into the turn 15 and then 16 section. And down the back straightaway. Keep a close eye here on Brack. We'll see if he takes the opportunity to hit pit lane. Oh, he's got an LMP2 underneath him. Don't know if he's going to sneak into pits or not. He is. Could have been a disaster for Brack Crouch there. The LMP2 trying to make the pass down to the bottom right before pit entry. Luckily fast enough to make the pass and complete it before Brack headed down pit lane for his final stop of the day. This is likely going to move Mark Thomas. Yes, it is. Up into P2, back where he was before that mistake. So Cody Steeg, Mark Thomas, that's your top two. Can certainly make it all the way to the finish. Crouch down and away, short stop, 9.3 seconds. Again, with just about 6.5 minutes remaining. So let's go through the top three again here in GT3. Cody Steeg, to no one's surprise, he's still out front. He's got a 38-second advantage now over Mark Thomas. Now you got to think back. Again, Mark did have that incident, locked up the rear tires, spun the car, didn't hit anything, didn't collect any other drivers, but it certainly cost him some track time, some track position. He's 38 seconds in the rears now. I'd bet he lost at least 15 to 20 seconds in that exchange. Still not quite close enough, even with that back, to put on a challenge to Cody Steeg. Cody's just been lights out thus far. Now we see Nigel Stock and Matt Sisler in the pit lane as well. Or was it? No, he hit the cones and came back out. What went on there? Let's get a look at it, see what I can find here. Oh, he's saving the car. Locks it up. Looks like he was entering pit road because he was just there getting his final stop of the day. Sisler, a little bit of trouble there in the later stages of the race. Sisler still running in the third position. Drew Prohl has crashed. Tough night for the Colonel. Let's see if we can catch this real quick, see what happened to Drew Prohl. Oh, left side's in the loose stuff. Not a great way to get into the corner. That's not really what caused it. Gets up on the curbing. Looked pretty good for a moment. Ah, left side's in the grass. That is a hard impact. That's why that tire stack is there. Kyle Surratt went off track. Still at speed. Gap back to Garrett Hagan now 53 seconds. You see him locking up the right front there. Tires likely going away on Kyle Surratt's machine. And closing in on about 3.5 minutes remaining. Let's take a look real quick what happened to Kyle here as he went off track just a moment ago. A little bit of a tank slap. In fact, he spun the car out. Does he make contact? He does. Grabs a gear and gets right back at it. He was lucky not to high side that. We saw that with Joe Tucker, I think, in that same corner early on. Had enough speed to get back out on the racetrack without getting stuck there. Garrett Hagan back there licking his chops, hoping that something to that effect would happen. At this stage of the race, doesn't matter how you get it as long as you get it, but it seems that Surratt has recovered nicely. Just about 3 minutes remaining. 44-second advantage over P2 and a 53-second advantage back to Matt Sisler in P3. Cody Steeg still plenty of space out in front in GT3 over Mark Thomas. Again, Mark Thomas back 38 seconds in the rear view. Brack Crouch a solid minute behind the leaders. Then Chris Pyle, Blake Langley round out the lead lap cars in GT3. Closing in on 2 minutes remaining. Lap times around this place, just about a minute and 49 seconds. Best of the day so far was indeed your leader, Kyle Surratt. 1 minute 46.64 seconds. Last lap, a minute 58. That was by and large due to that spin and a slight contact to the tire pack. Kyle Surratt through turns 7, 8, and 9. Surratt likely to get the white flag this time by. Plenty of room out the back. 46 seconds back to Garrett Hagan. 52.5 back to Matt Sisler. Top 8 cars in LMP2 still on the lead lap. Ooh, close call there. Kyle Surratt almost making contact with the Mercedes, entering turn 17. That was very close. White flag waves, final lap from Sebring. Kyle Surratt with the lead as he works through turn number 1. One more clean lap out of the 18, and he'll have a victory here in Florida. Ooh, right side's in the loose stuff. He keeps it straight. Talked about being super aggressive, trying to get that fast lap. He's already got it. He's the only driver to crack a minute 46 here tonight. He's trying to go a little bit faster, it seems. Hard braking down into turn number 7, the hairpin, the right-hander. The quick left. Kyle Surratt through 10, 11, and 12. Then coming into the right-hand turn number 13. Was a little wide once again. Left side's in the dirt. Surratt down the back straightaway for the final time here tonight. One more big corner to go into Sunset Bend, turn 17, and then a checkered flag. Over the bumps, off the corner for the final time. Checkered flag waves. Kyle Surratt, your winner here at Sebring in LMP2. Down to GT3, it's Cody Stieg likely going to take top honors. Plenty of room out the rear view. Cody Stieg on his final lap into the hairpin for the final time. Cody Stieg trying to go around the 421 of Britt Osborne here in the closing lap. Driver's made 50 laps around this place, at least in the LMP2s. Cody Stieg back to the backstretch again for one more time. Sets to the inside of PM Beagle, down into the final corner, turn 17. Cleanly off the corner, he's going to see a checkered flag, and he is going to win at Sebring as well. Your GT3 winner, Cody Stieg. Guess he's got to go to the bathroom real bad. As soon as he gets past the checkered flag, he's on the brakes and parks it. Kyle Surratt, though, approaching start-finish after his cool down. Just parks it at the start-finish line. No burnouts, no crazy celebration, just a deep breath. We're going to step aside. We're going to get a word with our leaders here in the chat here after this. Stay with us, folks. We'll be back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Sebring, Florida. The FF Karting Sebring 90 minutes. Kyle Surratt, your LMP2 and overall winner. Cody Stieg, your GT3 class winner. So far, it looks like Cody's the only one I got available in the booth, so we'll pull him up here and get a word with our GT3 winner. Oh, Kyle's in there, so we'll start with Cody. We'll do it a little bit backwards this time because he was first. Cody, it's Steve in the HBR TV booth. You got a copy? Cody Stieg, it's Steve in the HBR booth. You there? Cody, you're in the booth. You got us? All right, we're going to drop Cody out of here for a minute. We're going to go to our LMP2 category winner. Get a word with Kyle Surratt. Kyle, it's Steve in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
There we go. All right. First off, congratulations, man. A dominating performance here at Sebring. Couldn't take the pole. You missed it by that much, but it didn't take long. Initial start. Andrew Locke missed a shift. You took the lead going into one. You never looked back, man. Tell us about your race.
You know, I really got pretty fortunate. I think James probably had the best car, and I'm not sure what happened to him. I saw he manually disconnected about halfway through the race, but I had a couple teammates back in the field saying that he was coming pretty quick, but I was just trying to hold my tires together because I was trying to go with tires the first stop and then no tires the rest of the race, and then after the race I ended up hearing that some people went on no tires, but other than that, I mean, it was really pretty easy. I saw Andrew had some trouble there at the start, probably followed me off. I went off into the hairpin there, and but after that, once I got some heat in the tires, just basically drive to the end. Everybody else had some problems here or there, I guess, and other people behind me didn't take any tires, so I just kind of cruising around there really.
Well, James Vance's issue, he definitely had some pace, and at your best times, you guys were both within a tenth of each other for the longest time. You ultimately had the fastest lap of the race. You cracked a 46.64. Vance, I don't think, got into the 46s. He later on would have an issue with his VR and had to stop after his first pit stop again to fix it, so that cost him some time, and then ended up getting a piece of the wall later on in the race and did disconnect. Andrew Locke's issues more related to hardware at home, brake pedal issues for him, but nonetheless, man, it doesn't matter how you get them. You did it clean. You led, I think, almost the entire race. Nice job out there. As far as tires were concerned, he said once they got some heat into them, they seem to be a lot better. That kind of goes without saying, but this is our first race in the series, at least, where we got to do it under the moon. And does it take a little bit longer for these tires to come up to temperature when the sun's not out?
I don't think so. I think I was, during practice this week, I was noticing about 2 laps where I could dial my brake bias back down and not have to worry about spinning the car out, and I kind of followed that same protocol, and seemed to work out just fine for me. I hate to hear that those guys had issues. I love that I dominated the race, but I still would like some challenge, you know what I mean?
Well, plenty of racing left this season. Those guys aren't going anywhere, and it's certainly something we're all looking forward to see between you guys, James Vance, Andrew Locke, any other challengers that want to jump to the forefront here. It's going to be a good season going forward the rest of the way, so we're certainly looking forward to it. While we watch here, we're on the replay late in the race here, coming to its end. You had a little bit of an off where you backed the car into the tire pack. What exactly happened there? Did you just lock up the rears, or was it loss of concentration? What exactly happened there?
I was trying to get through that tight left there with some pace because I was trying to prepare myself to be able to get by Kevin going down the straightaway, and I guess I was too close, and I didn't have any air on the rear, and it just went around. I had drove the corner the same pretty much the entire race. I never really followed anybody through there except for maybe a slower GT3 car at, one point or another. But I went in there same as normal with my fastest pace, and it just felt like I had no air on the rear, and it just spun out.
Well,
So I tried to, like you said, I tried to back it in. That way I didn't really do much damage, and try not to get any wheel damage, and was still able to pull it off.
Well, you had built up plenty of a gap that you could afford a mistake or even two. Still finished this race here with a pretty good advantage over P2. I think it was about 53 seconds over Garrett Hagen. So again, nicely done, Kyle. Congratulations on the victory. We're going to let you go here, but before we do, is there anybody you need to thank?
Sure, I'd like to thank myself for putting this deal together, my wife for letting me do it every night if I want to, and my teammates at Slapdash Motorsports for putting in work with me throughout the week to get on par with these fast guys in here, and JP Designs for putting this nice paint on the car. If you guys need a car, go hit them up. JP Designs on Facebook. And I think that's about it. Thank you guys for putting on the broadcast. Thank LSR for putting on the league.
All right, Kyle. Thanks for talking to us, man. Congratulations once again. Good luck next week.
Okay, thank you, man.
It's Kyle Surratt. He's awfully modest, man. He's happy to be up here with the fast guys. He's one of the fast guys. Don't let him fool you. Had a great race here. Turned some really wicked fast times. Really, really impressed here. Sebring is not an easy place to turn laps at, but it is what it is. He gets the victory. We move on to next week, and now we move down to GT3 and Cody Steeg. Let's get a word with our GT winner. Let's see if he's available at this point. Cody, it's Steve in the HBR TV broadcast booth. You got a good copy?
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Had some technical difficulties there.
Everybody has the bathroom breaks. It's totally fine. So congratulations on the victory here in GT3. You pretty much led just very similar to what we saw in LMP2. From the drop of the green flag, you were out front, never really looked back. It seemed every pit cycle you increased that gap. Tell us the strategies coming into tonight, and tell us about the rest of your race.
Yeah, really. I mean, Sebring is one of my favorites, especially going into the night there, through the night. Nice and just calm pace, maintain the gap. Don't push too hard. Don't make mistakes. And save as much tire as you can so that if it came down to a push at the end, we had tire to go.
Well, Scar certainly looked really good out there. The paint scheme looks great out there, and that Mercedes is certainly fast. I think everybody's in for a rude awakening if iRacing ever decides to add a little bit of a BOP adjustment to these cars, because that seems to be everybody's go-to. And once again, it's a Mercedes 1, 2, 3 with yourself, Mark Thomas, and again, Brack Crouch coming in third. Is this car just really that much better? Is it just fun to drive? Is it the balance? I mean, what is it?
You're asking the wrong guy. I've been driving Mercedes for 3 years now. So she's just my girl, and she treats me good. Really, when it comes down to brass tacks, yeah, I mean, there might be a little BOP issue right now when you're talking apples for apples, but I mean, we're talking tenths of a second. It generally, for my level of racing anyway, I'm the issue, not the car.
Well, Cody, again, you look good out there. The car looks good. Congratulations on the victory. What are your thoughts going into next week?
Yeah, I think we're going to have a little bit of a break here, I think, with the holiday, pushing it back a week, but, should be pretty good. Really, I don't try to overthink it too much. That's tends to be when I have a lot of issues. So just practice with the teammates and see what we can do.
We'll see what that Mercedes can do out at Fuji Speedway in a couple of weeks. Going to let that thing eat down that massive front straightaway. We're going to let you go, Cody. Again, congratulations on the win. Before we let you go, anybody that you need to thank?
Yeah, I mean, obviously LSR with the series they're putting on. I see some good things coming from that series. A lot of people, kind of learning the ropes and getting their feet wet, and I think there'll be some good things in the future. As far as thanking people, my team, obviously Apex Tech Racing Supply, Pro Sim Rig, Meridian, those guys. We work hard and have fun. So thank you.
Well, certainly glad you're a part of it, Cody. Congratulations, and thanks for talking to us.
Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
You too. It's Cody Steeg, your GT3 winner here at Sebring. that's going to wrap it up for us, at least as far as our interviews are concerned. You got everybody handled and taken care of. Let's take a look at our official race results. We talked to our class winners in LMP2 and GT3. Of course, Kyle Surratt, he takes top honors in the overall and LMP2. Second went to Garrett Hagen. Matt Sisler was third. Lee Tucker fourth. Tyson Pankow fifth. Nigel Stock was sixth. Kyle Moyer seventh. Kevin Blue eighth. Chris Gones was ninth. Again, these are overall standings, but you see the colors notated in blue for GT3, yellow for LMP2. Cody Stieg, your GT3 winner. Mark Thomas was 11th. Brack Crouch, I think winner last week, he was 12th. 13th position, Chris Pio. Blake Langley was 14th. James Bomar 15th. Andy Spicer was 16th. PM Beagle 17th. Drew Prohl, Bill Molfeld 18th and 19th. Britt Osborne 20th in GT3. And then we have some more LMP2 machines that were shuffled back due to various issues. Jordan Curty, 21st. James Vance had his struggles with VR and the like, ended up leaving early. 19 laps down, 22nd for James Vance. Sean Roberts, big trouble to start the race, crash into turn 1, 23rd finishing position. Andrew Locke having some brake pedal issues. He was unable to complete the race, 27 laps down, 24th. Cody Anderson was 25th. 25th went to Chris Myers, GT3. 27th, Joe Tucker. Then Bill Martin and Jesse Redding close out the overall 28th and 29th. Thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate you being here. A little light in the stream chat tonight. You made me earn my keep, I guess you could say. But future races, guys, feel free to chime in. Tell us where you're watching from, who you're cheering for. All of the above. If the broadcaster's audio isn't working, that's a huge thing. Big shout out to Cody Anderson for helping me with that one. I really don't know what caused it. Usually it's me forgetting to unmute something, but everything looked good to go. So we'll get that straightened out. We'll do a couple test runs between now and then. It's off next week for Labor Day. I think these guys in LSR are going to do a little bit of a fun type deal for their people just to have a good time. So stay tuned. We'll be back a couple of weeks at Fuji. That'll be race number 7. But we will still be running on Tuesday. That'll be the Superior Class Auto Racing Premier Series. Then Wednesday, we've got the Old Farts Sim Racing League. That's the Concrete Floors Next Gen Cup Series. Thursdays, of course, back to LSR, except it's not in sports cars. It's in the trucks. Coming up with those guys, their season freshly new, so tune in for that. And then we've got a couple races left, it looks like, here with the Numb Thumbs Racing League ARCA Series, so be sure to tune in for that. If you haven't already done so, please like, share, follow, subscribe, facebook.com/HBRTV1. We do multi-stream to Facebook and to YouTube. You can find us on YouTube as well. Also, the same handle, HBRTV, the number 1. Valley Odinson saying, later, Steve. Yeah, thanks for watching, Valley. Appreciate it. Also, thank you for filling me in that for some reason we titled tonight's race as an ARCA race that happened in the past. So, got to jump in the DeLorean and fix that one. That's all I got, guys. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you at the next one. Have a good night.